And why do you always feel like you have to carry everything alone? Why does it feel like no one ever sees the weight on your shoulders? Only the way you keep standing. You're a man, so they expect you to be fine, to be strong, to be silent. But what if I told you that strength doesn't have to mean silence? Uh, what if I told you that there's a part of your identity that's been buried, hidden under the pressure, the expectations, the years of pretending not to feel? And what if rediscovering that part of yourself could change your entire life? Because this video isn't about becoming the man the world wants you to be. It's about becoming the man you were meant to be. Well, the one who doesn't have to hide behind toughness. There's one who knows that vulnerability isn't weakness. It's proof that your heart still beats under all that armor. Most men are drowning in silence. Not because they're weak, but because no one ever taught them how to swim in emotion. No one ever told them that it's okay to be broken. That real masculinity, isn't about never falling, and it's about learning how to get back up wiser. We're taught to chase power, success, women, status, but no one teaches us how to build peace inside our own minds. No one teaches us how to face the fear that we'll never be enough, but there's something hidden, something most men never discover, a truth that will make you dangerous in the best way, emotionally intelligent, deeply grounded, and powerful in a way that no one can fake. And if you stay with me, you're going to uncover that truth. In the next few minutes, we're going to break down 5 truths every man needs to hear. Things you were never taught, but should have been from the start. They might hurt, they might crack something open, but they'll also give you something most men die without ever finding: freedom. This isn't a motivational speech, it's a mirror. And when you look into it, you won't just see a man trying to survive anymore. You'll start to see a man who's finally learning how to live. 1. The boy who was told to man up. It starts young, doesn't it? You're 5 years old, you scrape your knee, and you're told, don't cry, be a man. You're 13, heartbroken for the first time, and someone says, get over it, toughen up. You're 17, overwhelmed and lost, and you hear, stop acting weak. From the beginning, the world teaches boys that emotions are a threat to masculinity, that to be respected, you have to bury what hurts, that to be a real man, you must become emotionally bulletproof. But here's the hidden damage. Every time you silence yourself, you lose a part of who you are. You don't learn to process pain, you learn to suppress it. You don't learn to heal, you learn to hide. You don't learn to connect, you learn to perform, and eventually you wake up and realize you don't even know what you really feel anymore. You just know you're tired, angry. Number. This is the emotional cage, the one built not of steel but of silence. And most men live their entire lives inside it, confusing isolation with strength. They confuse being disconnected with being in control. But here's what no one tells you. A man who's afraid to feel will always be at war with himself. You can have the money, the muscles, the car, the status, but if you don't know how to sit with your own pain, how to actually feel your own heart, none of it will matter. You'll still feel hollow. Real masculinity isn't cold. It's not robotic. It's not about shutting down what makes you human. Real masculinity is embodied. It's emotional fluency. It's the ability to cry without shame, to love without fear, to face failure and keep your integrity. It's the man who can hold his own chaos without destroying others in the process. That man, he's rare, but he's the future. And it starts when you stop running from yourself and start listening, because the boy who was told to man up never needed to be tougher. He needed someone to say, it's okay to feel. I'm here. And maybe now that someone is you. 2. The silent brotherhood of isolated men. There is a kind of loneliness that most men carry, and almost none talk about. It's not just being alone, it's feeling like you can't be yourself with anyone. Not with your friends, because most of them are just surviving too. Not with your family. Because they still expect you to be the strong one, not even with your partner. Because part of you thinks if she saw how lost you really are, she'd leave. So you wear the mask. You smile when you're breaking. You joke to cover the pain. You keep it moving because stopping would mean admitting you're not okay. But here's the truth. No one ever gave us permission to believe you don't have to go through this alone. Somewhere along the line, we started confusing isolation with strength. Like being disconnected somehow makes you more of a man. But if you look deeper, you'll see it's killing us. Literally. Men lead in suicide rates, in addiction, in emotional repression. Why? Because we suffer in silence, thinking no one would understand. But here's the plot twist. They would. Every man you pass, at the gym, on the street, online, is carrying something he's afraid to say out loud. And if one of us was brave enough to speak first, we'd realize we're all in this together. You were never meant to carry the weight of your pain alone. Brotherhood isn't just about drinking beers or watching sports. It's about having someone you can call at 2 a.m. when your thoughts won't shut up. It's about being real, not pretending. It's about being seen, not just admired for your toughness. You don't need 100 fake friends. You need one person you can be fully human with. And maybe that starts by being that person for yourself. Maybe you become the man who stops hiding, who tells the truth, who reaches out not because he's weak, but because he's finally strong enough to stop pretending. There's a quiet revolution happening. Men waking up, men healing, men choosing connection over ego. And if you're hearing this, maybe you're meant to be part of it. 3. The man in the mirror who's never enough. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt proud of yourself? Not because of what you did, but because of who you are. See, for most of us, love was never unconditional. It came with achievements, grades, trophies, the image of being the good son, the successful one, the guy who's got it all figured out. And so we learned early. If you're not performing, you're not valuable. You hustle, you grind, you push yourself until you break. And even when you win, it's not enough because the moment passes and there's another bar to hit, another version of yourself to chase. But underneath it all, there's a boy who just wanted to be accepted without having to earn it. A boy who learned to equate love with performance. And now he's a man who doesn't know how to rest. That's why you can't stop. That's why the silence feels unbearable. That's why you feel guilty when you take a break. Because somewhere inside, there's still a voice whispering, you haven't done enough yet. You're still not enough. But here's the truth. Your worth is not in your results. Your value isn't measured by your income, your status, your body, or your ability to hold everything together. It's in the quiet things, the way you keep showing up, the way you love people when it's hard, the way you fight your inner battles and still try to become better. You don't need to earn your place in this world. You're already worthy of healing, of peace, of rest. Even if you haven't figured it all out yet, what you do matters, but who you are beneath the doing. That's where the real power is. So take off the mask of perfection. Let go of the pressure to constantly prove yourself. You're not a machine, you're a man, and that means you get to be human. And being human means you'll fall, you'll doubt, you'll hurt. But it also means you can grow. You can change. You can rewrite the story. And maybe that's the whole point. If you've made it this far, I want you to understand something that most men never get told. You're already brave. Not because you fight battles out in the world, but because you faced something far harder, your own silence. Most people won't do this. They'll scroll past, numb themselves, chase distractions, pretend they're fine, but not you. You stayed, you listened, you allowed these words to touch places inside you that maybe you haven't touched in years. And that's not weakness. That's power. See, healing isn't loud. It's not dramatic or perfect. It's quiet, messy, lonely sometimes, but it's real. and it's sacred. And you, by being here, have already taken the first step most people are too scared to even see. You've begun to remember who you really are. You're not broken. You're not too far gone. You're not less of a man because you feel deeply. You are becoming. The man you're meant to be isn't perfect, but he's honest. He doesn't have it all figured out, but he's committed to the truth. He doesn't walk alone anymore because he knows that real strength is shared. And if you leave with anything, let it be this: you are not alone. There's a whole generation of men waking up, asking the hard questions, breaking generational silence, and refusing to live a numb, disconnected life. You are one of them. So sit in this moment. Let the silence after this video hit differently. Feel it, because it's not the end, it's the beginning. And if you ever doubt your worth again, come back to this. Play it again. Let it remind you of who you really are beneath all the noise. And if this message meant something to you, share it. Not for me, but for the man out there who's one video away from giving up, one conversation away from choosing to stay. Be that light. We're not meant to walk this path alone. And now, you don't have to.